Hey everybody, welcome to the Logan Power Show. My name is Calvin Logan. I'm having a great time here. We're having a ball. I thank you all for giving me phone calls, your emails, your tweets, your Facebook feeds. I know it's been uplifting. You're touching my heart. I got with me a gentleman who has learned to he has a great history. It's probably take me at least hours on end to tell his actual story, but I want to focus on what he's doing. He's making a great way for young people to get to the next level. I had with me one of the greatest businessmen I know so far, Mr. Jimmy Bailey. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, sir. Thank you very much.
No problem.
For having me here with you.
Hey, we're having a great time. Now, for those who don't know, Mr. Bailey here, he says go by Jimmy, has a company called Yes Carolina, a nonprofit organization that's been going on for 11 years that helps young people in regards to entrepreneurship, training teachers to become entrepreneurs. What led you to this idea, I'm going to make a difference, of this Yes Carolina?
Well, it's real interesting. In another lifetime, I served in the South Carolina House of Representatives and got put on a mailing list from Hillsdale College, very small conservative college in Michigan, and I frankly still get in the mail every month a copy of the speech that was given by their guest speaker for the month. Mm-hmm. And in November 1998, in the mail was a speech by a fellow named Steve Mariotti. And the topic of the speech was solving the problem of poverty. And I've got to admit, and I hope nobody from Hillsdale hears this, but 9 out of 10 of the letters never leave the post office. And but this one struck a chord with me, solving the problem of poverty. And it struck a chord because I grew up, I would say, in a humble situation. Would be an exaggeration. We were poor, and so all my life I have had a soft spot in my heart for low-income folks. And when I was in the General Assembly, a lot of my efforts were directed towards helping people as much as I could. So in any event, this speech. In it, Steve Mariotti said, I know a secret that if fully understood by government, business, and community leaders, could possibly have an enormous positive impact on the future of our society. The secret is simply this: low-income children are born with special gifts and talents that prepare them for wealth creation and business formulation. In short, they have street sense, or what we at the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship call business smarts. Well, I've got to tell you that portion of his speech just resonated with me, and I read and reread that article for about 5 years. And finally I realized that the article was speaking about Jimmy Bailey as a poor kid growing up in Charleston. And even though the speech was about low-income kids in the Fort Apache section of New York, it could easily have applied to Jimmy Bailey and so many of our young people today in Charleston. So I read that article for 5 years, and I said, I need to do something about this. And I picked up the phone and called the organization that Steve Mariotti started, called the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship. And I called and I said, I think I understand what y'all do, but can I come take the training in order to fully understand it, to bring it back to my community? And the young lady, I'll never forget, said, what do you do? And I said, I'm in the commercial real estate business. And she said, I'm sorry, but we don't take your kind. And and I knew what she meant. And I said, well, you mind if I send you my resume? And she said, sure, why not? And within 5 minutes, they called me back and said, we'd love to have you. And so I went to New York and I took their training. It was 3 days at the time.
Okay.
And what they do is they teach teachers, social workers, church program directors, anyone who has programs dealing with young people. The Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship teaches these adults how to go back to their particular setting to teach young people how to make an honest living today, how to start a business. Okay. And so, as I say, I went, and I will have to tell you, Calvin, within the first 2 or 3 hours, I realized what they were doing made more sense than anything that I'd ever been exposed to in grammar school, high school, college, in my professional career, in my political career. And I just said, this is something that the kids of Charleston deserve to have access to. The teachers need to have the ability to teach in the school systems how to teach a kid how to start a business. So, well, we did it. I went, I came back. I said, well, how am I going to do this? And like most people, I said, well, government's got to do it. I'll run for mayor of Charleston. So, and I did, and obviously that didn't work out. My good friend Joe Riley was reelected, and Tommy Baker from Baker Motor Company said, Jimmy, you didn't win, but you had the best idea. Let's make it happen. And that's what happened. So a group of us got together, put our money down, and brought in an instructor from the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship. In that first year, we trained 14 teachers and 3 social workers. And it was amazing that the teachers, almost to a person, said, you know, no one has ever done this for us before. And I find that so amazing that I wonder what the school system is doing for math teachers and history teachers and science teachers. Are they properly teaching these teachers how to go to the classroom and impart this information? So it was so successful that first year, we did it next year. Next year, 24 teachers. And we had someone from the State Department of Education say, would you let teachers from around the state come to your training? And I said, well, we get all our donations from local folks. And I'm a pretty good salesperson, but it's going to be difficult for me to explain to local people why we should be letting other teachers from around the state come in. And so Dr. Bob Couch was his name, and he said, well, what if I send you some money? He did, so we had a teacher from Rock Hill, a teacher from Walhalla, and a teacher from Beaufort that second year. And then Bobby Harrell, my good friend then, and he's still my good friend, Glenn McConnell, Chip Limehouse, Dan Kelly, Hugh Leatherman, said, would you make this training available to all teachers in South Carolina? And I said, if you give me the money. So they gave me the money. And so the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th year, we trained 100 teachers a year from around the state. And to date, we've trained just shy of 750 teachers in the state of South Carolina how to teach entrepreneurship. We have more trained, qualified entrepreneurial teachers in South Carolina than any other state in the nation. Wow. Yeah. And we know that over 15,000 young people have written a business plan as a result of that. Sure. And so, and not only have we done work with young people, several years ago I picked up I read an Associated Press article in the Post-Courier, and it talked about the high unemployment rate and high poverty rate in Marion County. One of the highest poverty rates and unemployment rates in the nation. So I called Representative Jim Battle, and I said, Jim, you know what we do entrepreneurially with young people. I would like to have an experiment that we take unemployed or underemployed adults, use the same information, and put them through a program and see what happens. Well, Calvin, we had 13 adults, average age probably 60, in that program. 3 of them started their own business at the end of that. Now, I'd say that's something to be proud of. And in fact, that program won a national award. Wow. The Levy Foundation out of Philadelphia said what a good thing, and that everybody around the country should be doing just this. You might remember several years ago when the young kids downtown were selling roses, and it became a big issue. Yeah. The residents wanted to kick them out of Charleston because they were climbing up in the trees, and I can understand why they would get upset, but to kick them out is a different story. Businesses were complaining that the kids were hurting their business. Well, I knew that was nonsense, but so this was probably in 2005, and I hadn't seen Joe Riley, and we hadn't had much conversation, but it was a problem that I thought that I could help with. So I saw Joe Riley coming out the post office one morning, and I said, Joe, I think I can help you with that situation with those young people. They're good kids. They could be on the corner selling dope, or they could be making these roses, which they inherited this art form from their ancestors who came from Africa. We're in a tourist town. Why shouldn't these young people be getting a little piece of the action? So Joe said, well, tell me what you have in mind. And so to make a long story short, we developed a program for the city of Charleston to train these young palmetto artisans, as they're called, how to properly sell their roses and how to make that into their own business. Well, I'm proud to tell you that in 2009, I was asked by Joe Riley to go to Providence, Rhode Island with him for the U.S. Conference of Mayors, where we accepted the top award given to a city for an innovative program. So from adults winning a national award for a program to young people, a program for young people, entrepreneurship, owning your own business, having that financial independence, building wealth creation. That's the answer for everyone in a global economy such as we have. Okay. And so what we are doing is we're planting the seed of financial independence as best we can. And it's been a wonderful ride, Calvin. I mean, it's just been a wonderful ride, and we've met so many terrific young people and so many terrific older people around our community, and quite honestly, it's the most fulfilling thing I've ever done.
Gotcha. Well, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jimmy has definitely done something that it was in his heart. And he took it and he ran with the vision. The Bible says, write the vision, make it plain. But he had people that was with him in the fight, and he just took it. And now he's a big time icon here in the Low Country. And for me, you know, I'm not from here, from Los Angeles, California. But, you know, when I came to Charleston, you know, making a success for myself, coming to college, joined the military, been in 13 years now. I started the show, you know, 2014. My producer, who's recording this now, Mr. Spencer Jones, was kind enough to give me an opportunity to speak my line about being successful. And I know that's just the opportunity for everyone else. So for those out there that are thinking you can't do it, you can. If you want to get involved with Yes Carolina, the information's on the screen. Mr. Jimmy Bailey, I'm telling you, he was so kind enough to get on the show. It was so easy to get in contact with him. You know, sometimes you think that person will never respond to you. But I was nice and polite, reaching out to him. He was nice and say, Calvin, I'll come on your show. And I think that, for instance, what you're doing, something that people around the globe is going to start doing, and we are going to help those that don't have it. And the unemployment, you know, this is what I believe. I want to get to the point where unemployment's at 0%, where there's no one saying I don't have a job, or I got a job, I got income coming in, I'm taking care of my family, I'm making a difference. We're getting the homeless people taken care of, we're taking people that don't have it and making things happen, and turn some people from the have-nots to the haves. And I really appreciate it again for coming on the show, Jimmy. You really are an inspiration. Everyone here is watching the Logan Power Show. Definitely come on, give us your feedback on Facebook, Twitter. Give us a call, email us. We're having a ball here. But hey, this is all the time we got. My name is Calvin with the Logan Power Show. We thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.